I would now like to call upon the stage the man whose thoughts and vision are in the form of a reality called IGN in front of us today. Yes, the founder chairman, IGN MUN organization, Mr. Gautam Seth. Please give a huge round of applause.
आने वाले समय में यह देश एक युवा शक्ति का देश होने वाला है। युवाओं का प्रतिनिधित्व है, दायित्व है इस देश को आगे बढ़ाना। इस देश को कैसे आगे लेके जाना है, हम केवल रास्ता दिखा सकते हैं, मगर उस रास्ते पे चलना यह आपकी जिम्मेदारी है, इस देश के युवा की जिम्मेदारी है और प्रत्येक भारतीय नागरिक की जिम्मेदारी है। श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी, पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री भारत सरकार। Today, Gautam Seth, founder chairman, Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations, feel distinctly honored to extend a very warm welcome to our chief guest for the inaugural ceremony, a stalwart of Indian politics, former Speaker, Indian Lok Sabha, former Home Minister of India, former Governor of Punjab, Sir Shivraj Patil. I extend him a very warm thanks for taking out time from his busy schedule and gracing this occasion. I would now like to thank that woman who is the reason behind the happening of Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations. She is the patron of Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations and the backbone of our organization. None other than Srimati Sheila Dixit, a name which needs no introduction when we talk in India. I would extend a very hearty welcome to the guest of honor for the evening, Srimati Rajinder Kaur Bhattal, former Chief Minister, Government of Punjab. Madam, your presence is indeed inspiring. I also welcome the Chancellor of the University, the Pro-Chancellor of the University, and thank them for all the support they have given to our organization for making this event a very successful one. Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations is a dream that I took along with my co-founder, President Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations, Mr. Abhimanyu More. And I still remember the day when we called 10 Janpath for an appointment. Pillai picked up the phone and he asked, why do you want to meet the Congress President, Srimati Sonia Gandhi? And I told him that, sir, I have this idea in my mind. I want to start an organization. We wish to conduct mock parliaments. We wish to conduct mock United Nations sessions. And I want to dedicate it to the memory of Srimati Indira Gandhi. And of course, to use her name, I need Madam's permission. So he felt that my idea is really vague and has no value to it. So he said that just write me a letter, we'll see if something can be done. I sent a letter and suddenly one day we got a call and Madam Gandhi invited me and Abhimanyu to her residence. We had put forth this plan in front of her that we wish to do this. And she straightforwardly said that this should be named as Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations. After that, with the support of saying that a dream is about to come true. We have taken this step and I am sure that we will one day revolutionize the whole nation with the youth's thoughts reaching the masses, reaching the parliament, reaching the president, and finally the United Nations organization. Thank you.
You all might have seen how remarkable our journey has been. So this is what we create at IGN. We want to serve the nation with the youth hand in hand. Now I would like all the distinguished guests, including Shri Shivraj Patil ji, Srimati Sheila Dikshit ji, Srimati Rajinder Kaur Bhattal ji, Shri Ashok Mittal, Chancellor, LPU, Srimati Rashmi Mittal, Pro-Chancellor, LPU, along with our IGN representatives, Gautam Seth, Founder Chairman, Abhimanyu More, Founder President, and Shaurya Shur, Secretary General, to come up on the stage and take their distinguished places. Thank you. I now take the honor in inviting the lady who created the capital of the nation, who as such does not need any introduction, but whose simplicity and thoughts have always inspired us at IGN. Yes, Mrs. Sheila Dikshit ji, the patron, IGN MUN. I request you, ma'am, to come forward and say a few words. Please, ma'am.
Can all of you see me? I'm rather small, so it's difficult. One of our most respected leaders, Mr. Shivraj Patilji, your Vice Chancellor, Mr. Mittal, and of course the Mittal family, Mrs. Bhattal, all the other distinguished guests who are sitting on the dais, most importantly, Mr. Gautam Sharma, who has organized today's event, in memory of Indira Gandhi's concept of a United Nations, model concept of a United Nations. All the very distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are sitting here with us, thank you very much, Gautamji, for inviting me in front of this awesome audience. I'd also like to congratulate Mr. Ashok Mittal and your family for having put up such a lovely institution in what we thought was a small town which couldn't possibly have dreamt of such a wonderful university. So congratulations to you. I really feel very deeply honored and touched by this institution. I was told by Gautam that I should speak on the status of women, both as envisaged by the United Nations and by our own country and several other countries. The real time when attention came all over the world upon women and their rights and their equality in societies was when the United Nations set up this United Nations Council for Women, of which I was lucky enough to be a member. And I can tell you one thing, and I would like to share it with you, that it is not just in India that women feel somewhat neglected, but all over the world the situation is the same. For a certainty I can tell you that even in the United Kingdom, which has given us our democracy, the women got the right to vote somewhere in the early 20th century. They didn't have the right to vote, and that also after they had set up and fought for that right. I'd also like to tell you that as late as about a decade ago, women were paid wages less than men for the same kind of work all over the world, stretching from Australia up to Europe, and in some places even the United States. So we in India are very fortunate that this battle for rights of women, for equal rights of women, has been fought all over the world, and we have become inheritors of that fight. In our own culture, both in religion and otherwise, women hold a very high position. The goddess of art, culture, music is Saraswati. She is a woman. And the goddess of valor is Durga. So valor, culture, art, music, erudition, all those goddesses are women. And of course we all know the story of Sita, and we all know the story of Draupadi. And whenever little knowledge that I have, whatever little knowledge that I have of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, I have no hesitation in saying that the real heroes and heroines of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata are Draupadi and Sita. The amount of sacrifice they did, the amount of work they did, the amount of inspiration they gave is truly and really not only record-breaking but also historical. No other nation has such a long history where women have been worshipped for the best things that we all aspire to become and to make our societies into. But in spite of all that, with all due regards to our brothers, we still have a long way to go. Why is it always that, oh, this work cannot be done because women cannot do it? But I would like to tell each one of you, and I quote from the United Nations, that 75 to 76% of the work that is done by any society anywhere in the world is done by the women of the world. फिर आप क्यों ऐसा सोचते हैं कि महिला अबला है, महिला कमजोर है, महिला ये काम नहीं कर सकती, महिला वो काम नहीं कर सकती, इतनी शिक्षा नहीं प्राप्त करती, इतना दिमाग नहीं है उनका? इस बात को अब भूल जाना चाहिए। और जितनी हमारी आपके इस यूनिवर्सिटी में गर्ल स्टूडेंट्स हैं, I am absolutely certain, without knowing anything about it, that women do far better than the boys do. In my family, a woman has not only courage, has not only got stamina, has not only got the capacity to withstand all the problems that we all face in life, but along with that, she has a heart of gold and compassion. Can you imagine a life without a mother? Can you imagine a life without a daughter? So, I would like to tell our dear friend who has started this organization that please get women to come forward. ये जो थोड़ा बहुत वार्तालाप हो रहा है ना कि हम बड़े हैं, ये छोटे हैं, ये फ्यूचर है, ये पास्ट है, इस वार्तालाप को कम करके यदि आप एकता महिलाओं और पुरुषों में कर देंगे तो आप देखना कि ये संसार, ये फैमिली लाइफ, ये देश जो इतने भी हैं, they will be better places for all of us to live in. With these words, I'd like to congratulate our dear friend Sanjay Sharma, for having organized this wonderful gathering here. I wish I could stay very much longer and join you all for tomorrow and day after also. But I wish you really the very best. As Indira Gandhi had said, this is the beginning of a new thinking, of a new approach, which IGNUN is going to start. My best wishes to you, to all those who are members of this organization, and I do feel that we should be really very, very honored and deeply touched by the presence of Mr. Shivraj Patil and Mrs. Bhattal. I can tell you that Shivraj ji has a heart of gold, and Mrs. Bhattal has a heart of a tigress. She'll fight for it and reach a position and a place where men cannot even imagine they can reach. With these words, my heartiest congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to request...
I'm so sorry I called Gautam Sanjay. Actually it was Gautam. When I saw him I thought of Gautam. When I didn't see him I thought of Sanjay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to request the chief guest for the day, Shri Shivraj Patil ji, to enlighten us with his thoughts. Please, sir.
Respected Sheila Dixit ji, Honorable Rajendra Kaur Bhattal, Mr. Ashok Mittal, Mrs. Rashmi Mittal, Mr. Gautam Seth, Mr. Abhimanyu Mall, Mr. Surya Sur, and other dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. I'm indeed very happy to be here with you today. It has always been a pleasure to visit this university. I think this is one of the universities which is doing so many good things. Everything here is done in a planned and systematic manner, in a disciplined manner. It is having a lot of land, many buildings, many hostels, and many students from other countries. I would like to congratulate Mr. Mittal and his colleagues for the good work they are doing in this university. We are here today to discuss many subjects and topics. Which are very relevant to all of us in the country and in the world. This is being done by the friends who have brought into existence Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations. It is one of the most important work they are doing, not only for our country, but the entire world as such. Sometimes we feel that we are paying not enough attention to the bigger issues which touch all the people living in all parts of our country, all parts of the world. And that is why some problems are being thrown up. If we widen our vision to include everything that is there in our province, in our country, in our world, and allow me to say, in our universe, and if possible, in our cosmos, we would be able to do our duties in a better manner. A really great man is he or she. A great human being is he or she whose vision is very wide. And the friends who have established this organization are calling Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations. I had the good fortune of working for nearly 3 years, last 3 years of her life, as a junior minister to her. And I had the opportunity of watching how she works, how she thinks, how she motivates others to do their duties. She was great because she did not think of one part of our country, but the entire country. She was great because she thought not only of her country, but the entire world as such. She had inherited these ideas from Pandit Jawaharlal ji. He was an internationalist, and Mrs. Gandhi's approach was also internationalist. If we have to think about the United Nations, we shall have to think not only of India, but all countries of the world. And if our vision widens to the borders of our globe, or go beyond the borders of our globe, they are not limited only to the land or to the ocean, but they can reach the space and the outer space also. We can say that she was not a national leader alone, but she was the leader, or she was a person who was thinking of the entire cosmos as such, the universe and the world also. And if this kind of vision develops in the young generation's minds and their hearts are filled with this concept, I think they are going to do the best for themselves, their families, their province, their nation, their world, and this entire existence itself. I would like to congratulate Mr. Gautam Seth Abhimanyu, and their colleagues for having created this organization. And I would like to wish them all the best in their affairs. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi has done well in asking them to organize these kinds of discussions about modern model United Nations. We do have United Nations today. And United Nations has done so many good things for the entire world. United Nations is praised and criticized also. United Nations is not a government of the world. United Nations does not have military available with itself. United Nations does not have police force with itself. United Nations does not collect the revenue from the citizens of the world. It depends on the contribution made by some countries. All the members of the United Nations are expected to contribute. But unfortunately, that does not happen. So they don't have the sanction, authority to impose any decision on anybody. It's only the moral force. It's only the opinion of all the people living in this world which can compel the wrongdoers in the world to come to the correct path. But they do not have the legal authority which is sometimes found to have been given to the municipality, to Zilla Parishad, to Panchayat Samiti, to the state government, and to the government of the country. But that kind of authority is also not available to it. And in this position, the United Nations has to work. Now, question is asked many a time. Has it done its duty? Some people say, yes, it has done. Some people say, no, it has not done. It has not come up to the expectations of the people who were responsible for establishing it. What is the good it has done? What is it has not been able to do? Can be considered by the youngsters. And then they can suggest some solutions and some methods to strengthen the United Nations, to do away the deficiencies and the defects of the United Nations. And United Nations can be made into a model United Nations organization. What is it has done? League of Nations failed in stopping the Second World War. But fortunately, the United Nations has been successful up to this time in stopping the Third World War taking place in the world. And where has it failed? In stopping the wars. It has failed in stopping the wars which are being fought for some small or big issues that are faced by some developing countries. Some countries which are not fully developed on small issues. It has not been possible for them. United Nations is expected to stop the war taking place. And it has succeeded in stopping the big war taking place, the global war taking place. But it has not been able to stop the small wars taking place. And small wars cannot be stopped unless and until the countries which are fighting also realize that the wars are not going to solve their problems, they are going to create more problems. Unless that happens, it is not going to happen. Unless every country in the world today is willing to give up a little bit of the sovereignty which it is enjoying, it is not going to get the power, the authority to see that small as well as big walls are not fall. Now, if you want to make the United Nations a model United Nations, you cannot get it without sacrificing something. And what has to be sacrificed is little bit of national sovereignty by big countries, by the countries which are not very big, and countries which are in the process of development. Only then it is possible. The second thing which has to be done is expected to be done, about which Sheila Dikshit ji has spoken. About the rights of women, empowerment of women. The fundamental rights. United Nations is expected to protect the fundamental rights of not the people living in one part of the world or in one country, but the fundamental rights which are enjoyed by almost all citizens of the world. And it's a very, very difficult task. Even this task cannot be properly done unless and until all countries of the world are willing to go by the advice given by or the decisions taken by the General Assembly of the United Nations or other organizations of the United Nations. And the third task which is expected to be done is to protect the environment. It is not possible for any country in the world to protect the world, the globe, if the environment is polluted. It is not possible to stop the pollution of the environment if only a few countries take the steps. There also, a forum is required. There also, cooperation between the countries is required. Only then it can be done. And there are many, 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 many other things which are expected to be done for the betterment of the people of not one country, rich country or the poor country, but all the citizens in the world. Only then the United Nations can become a model United Nations as thought by the people in the country. That is why in the name of Mrs. Gandhi, sometimes I get a feeling that she was not only a nationalist, but she was a person who believed in universal attitude towards life, and at times the cosmic attitude towards life. And that was something she had inherited from the Indian culture. She had inherited from the Rishis and Munis of India and for our own father, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Only then United Nations can be a model United Nations. The second topic which is asked to be discussed by this organization is how the parliament functions. Well, these days we are discussing as to how the parliament functions. And as United Nations is praised as well as criticized, the parliament also praise and criticize. Now they think that the job of the parliament is to pass the laws. Definitely, that is why the parliament is a legislature. Legislative assembly is an assembly where the legislation is done. Lawmaking is one of the most important things. And the laws made by these lawmaking bodies, that is the parliament as well as the legislatures of the state, remain in existence, not for 1 year or 2 years, but for years together. There are some laws which have been in existence for more than 100 years, not made in our parliament, but in other parliaments, and yet they have remained in existence. This has to be realized by us. Now, the second thing which the parliament is expected to do is to pass the budget. And how much time is utilized in passing the budget, nobody discusses. Unfortunately, nobody discusses. And the third duty which the parliament has to discharge is the duty of seeing that the executive, that is the actual government, does not commit mistakes in implementing the policies or spending the money which is given to it. That is one of the most important things. People are accountable to themselves. Elected people are accountable to the people. And the executive, members of the executive are accountable to the parliament. Now, these are three most important duties which are expected to be done. We are not discussing it. And as I said, why should we be allowed to say that the United Nations has not fully failed? And why should we think that the parliament or the Indian legislature also has not fully failed? Because in our neighborhood, the democracies have collapsed and dictatorships have come into existence in almost all countries surrounding ourselves. Indian democracy has survived. It is only the elected people who are given the right to govern themselves. Parliament or the legislature are the opportunities which are given to the elected members, and through the elected members, through the voters who have sent them to the parliament, they have been able to protect the democracy. If the United Nations has been able to stop the world war, the legislatures in India have stopped the decline or coming down of democracy in India when the democracies in the neighboring countries of India come down. And we have every reason to say, with all the faults and all the defects, all the mistakes committed by them, they have done something which has really protected the democracy of India. We cannot just forget it. And then anything which has to be done by one party sitting on the ruling benches should be accepted by the opposition benches. And anything which is suggested by the opposition benches and which is correct and legal and constitutional should be accepted by the ruling party. Only then the democracy can survive. Our democracy do have certain defects. The money power, discussion about religion, discussion about caste system, and all those things are not really strengthening democracy, but weakening democracy. But the innate democracy of India is not dependent on this. Many times we are asked, you people were not democratic country, and yet democracy is surviving in your country. And I had the opportunity to tell them that don't think that democracy means only elections. It is not only that, but in Jain philosophy, they say anekantvad. What do you mean by anekantvad? Anekantvad means the truth has many aspects, and unless and until you know all the aspects about a thing, you will not be in a position to say that what you are saying is the full truth. It is a partial truth. This is a pen. This is a clip. It is visible to you, it is not visible to me. I see towards it and I say there is no clip. And you say that no, there is a clip. You are right, I am also right. Because I am seeing one part of it, they are seeing another part of it. And this concept is included in the concept of anekantvad. And this anekantvad was in existence many hundreds of years before this parliamentary system started in the world. And that is the heart of the democracy. To say that what I say is the only correct thing, what others say is not a correct thing, is not a correct thing. To say that what I see is a truth for me, what others say is truth for them, and the whole truth, the total truth, is the total of their vision, my views, and their views. This is Anikantwad. And this has really protected our democracy. That does not mean that we who get elected are not committing mistakes. That does not mean that if we commit a mistake, we should give some pretext and say, no, we were right. Okay? For the time being, for reasons, political or personal reasons, or for any other reasons, you are committing a mistake and you are trying to defend, we can excuse your defending yourself. But the truth is also there that has to be understood. And if it is not understood, and if all the time, all the good that the democracy has done, all the things the parliament has done, all the good things that the state legislatures have done, all the things that the United Nations has done is not understood, United Nations will be weak, the state legislatures will be weak, the parliament will be weak, and ultimately the executive also will be weak. Ultimately, even judiciary can become weak in that manner, and ultimately the democracy can suffer. And if the democracy suffers, what is the alternative available to us? Anarchy or dictatorship? If you think that the anarchy or dictatorship can be better than democracy, that is altogether a different thing. But if you think anarchy and dictatorship cannot be as good as the democracy is, and you try to find out the defects and try to remove those defects, rectify defects, that would be the correct thing to do. These are really the big issues. These issues should be discussed not only in the universities, not only in the parliament, but they should be discussed in a correct manner, in a non-political manner, non-partisan manner, in the media also, and by all people also. Only then the democracy can be strengthened. If the United Nations avoids war and the legislature are successful in doing the best which is required by the largest number of the people, then that would be the correct thing to do, and that would be protecting the democracy also. Well, this is a very small attempt done by this organization to enlighten the minds and the hearts of the youngsters who are going to be our future. We are in a passing phase. We will definitely sooner or later go behind the curtain. Everybody has to go. But the youngsters have a longer life, and if they become enlightened, their vision gets widened, and if they are in their heart and mind, without being partial to any ideology or any person or any kind of organization, if they do it, I think this will be good for the entire humanity, to the citizens of India and all citizens of India. Let us hope that this will be achieved, at least in whatever measure it is possible for this organization. And then it will be continued by you also, thinking and writing and doing and acting in consonance with this kind of philosophy. May this happen to this organization. May this kind of success be achieved by this organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to invite the founder chairman, Mr. Gautam Seth, to read out the message sent by the Indian National Congress head, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi.
Before reading out these messages, I would like to extend a very warm thanks to the people who are the real people behind the happening of this conference. I and Abhimanyu made this organization. We made the team, but the team which does the actual work and because of whom this organization is working and because of whom this particular conference is taking place today. The Secretary General of the conference, Mr. Shaurya Shur. I also thank the General Secretary of the organization, Ms. Gehna Kundra, for her support, the organizing committee, the Secretariat of the conference, and not just that, above all, our Chief Advisor, Mr. Aaron Mirza. Srimati Sonia Gandhi, who flagshipped our first conference in New Delhi, has sent her warm wishes for this one as well. She writes, the Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations IGNMUN session is a challenging and very worthwhile initiative. It will bring together on a common platform some of our most talented and open-minded young people to exchange thoughts and ideas on a range of important subjects such as international relations in the New World Order, world peace, the status of women, and nuclear disarmament. It will broaden the understanding of the participants of the different points of view on these issues, develop their negotiating skills, deepen their perception of cultural, social, and political factors, and engage their interest in international affairs. Our world today is more interconnected than ever before, and exercises such as the IGNMUN play an important role in emphasizing the importance of tolerance, goodwill, and cooperation between countries, without which we cannot tackle problems such as global terrorism and economic and social inequality and build a more peaceful and prosperous world. I congratulate Gautam Seth and Abhimanyu More and his colleagues for organizing what promises to be a most interesting and inspiring Model United Nations session. I send my warm greetings to all the participants and wish them every success for this event. Srimati Sonia Gandhi, President, Indian National Congress. Our very special guest who was supposed to be attending this event but wasn't able to come, a man who worked with Srimati Indira Gandhi closely and Mr. Rajiv Gandhi as well. Dr. Bhuta Singh, former Union Home Minister, has also sent his wishes, which I would like to read out. Dear Gautam, I'm delighted to know that Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations Organization is holding a mock session of the Indian Parliament and the United Nations in the memory of our late Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi ji, to prepare the young generation on global problems like caste discrimination, female discrimination, and to promote equality in economy. I thank you for inviting me as the special guest for this event and I would have been delighted to attend it. However, due to some security reasons, I will not be able to attend. I congratulate you and your colleagues on organizing this event and send my best wishes to all the participants for a successful event. Dr. Bhuta Singh, former Union Home Minister, Government of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam. She has the rare privilege of being the lone CM of the state and has always been working with relentless perseverance to make Punjab what it is today. I request our guest of honor, Mrs. Rajinder Kaur Bhattal, to address the august gathering. Please, ma'am.
बहुत ही ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟਡ ਸਤਿਕਾਰਯੋਗ ਸਾਡੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਾਨ ਸ਼ਿਵਰਾਜ ਪਾਟਿਲ ਜੀ, ਸਾਬਕਾ ਗਵਰਨਰ ਆਫ ਪੰਜਾਬ, ਸਾਬਕਾ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਐਂਡ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਲੋਕ ਸਭਾ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਬਣੇ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੇ, ਉਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਭੈਣ ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਦੀਕਸ਼ਿਤ ਜੀ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ, ਅਸ਼ੋਕ ਜੀ ਵਾਈਸ ਚਾਂਸਲਰ, ਰਸ਼ਮੀ ਮਿੱਤਲ ਜੀ ਵਾਈਸ ਚਾਂਸਲਰ, ਗੌਤਮ ਜੀ, ਇਸ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਔਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੈਕਲਟੀ ਦੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਅਤੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਓ, ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਸ ਸਟੇਟ ਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਸਪੀਕਰ ਸ਼ਿਵਰਾਜ ਪਾਟਿਲ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਕਹਿਣ ਲਈ ਖੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ, ਗੌਰਵ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਥੈਂਕਸ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਘੜੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰਲ ਪਲੇਸ 'ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ ਹੋ। ਪਾਟਲ ਜੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਟੈਨਿਓਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਗਵਰਨਰ ਸੀ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ 300 ਸਾਲਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਹਜ਼ੂਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਪੂਰੀ ਤਨਦੇਹੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੂਬੇ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਸੈਂਟਰੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਾਨਿਓ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ, ਸਾਡੇ 10ਮ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ, ਸਾਡੀ ਇਹ ਧਰਤੀ ਪੀਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਫਕੀਰਾਂ ਦੀ, ਸਾਡੀ ਹਿੰਦ ਦੀ ਚਾਦਰ, ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦੇ ਭਲੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਦਿਲ ਖੋਲ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਾਡਾ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ। ਇਸ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਖਿੱਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਰਗ, ਹੁਣ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਦਾ ਦਿਹਾੜਾ ਹੈ ਫਤਿਹਗੜ੍ਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ, ਇਸ ਧਰਤੀ 'ਤੇ ਵਸਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਓ, ਭੈਣੋ ਅਤੇ ਭਰਾਵੋ, ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੀਵਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਿਣੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਦਾਦੀ ਨੇ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀ। ਕਿਸ ਲਈ? ਅਣਖ ਲਈ, ਜ਼ਬਰ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ, ਧੱਕੇ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ, ਜ਼ਬਰਦਸਤੀ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ। ਉਸ ਹਿੰਦ ਦੀ ਚਾਦਰ, ਉਸ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਰਗ ਮਨਾਇਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਪਾਟਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਦਾ ਚੱਪਾ ਚੱਪਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਰਿਣੀ ਰਹੇਗਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਕਸੀਮਮ ਪੈਸਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਲਈ, ਦਮਦਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਲਈ, ਅਤੇ ਪਾਸ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੱਕ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਰਗ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸਟੇਟਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਕੇ ਜਾਊ, ਜੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ। ਇਹ ਦੋ ਗੌਰਵ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਲਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰਿਣੀ ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ। ਮੇਰੀ ਸਤਿਕਾਰਯੋਗ ਭੈਣ ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਜੀ, ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਡੀ ਭੈਣ ਨੇ, ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਦੀਕਸ਼ਿਤ ਜੀ, ਜਿਸ ਵਕਤ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲੀ, ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲੀ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਅਤੇ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਏਅਰਪੋਰਟ 'ਤੇ ਉਤਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਦੀਕਸ਼ਿਤ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਤਸਵੀਰ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਉਸ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਕਲ ਬਦਲ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਹਿਚਾਣ, ਲੋਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਅਬਰਾਡ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜੋ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪਹਿਚਾਣ। ਔਰ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਪਹਿਚਾਣ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿਹੜੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ੁਲਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਅੱਗ ਵਰ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, ਨੌਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਲਾਸ਼ਾਂ ਬੁੱਢਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਧਿਆਂ 'ਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਸੀ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵੱਲ ਕੋਈ ਮੂੰਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਰਦਾ। ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਦੀਕਸ਼ਿਤ ਜੀ ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਰਾਤ ਦੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬਠਿੰਡੇ ਆਏ ਅਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦਾ ਹੋਕਾ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਗਈ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰਿਣੀ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੇ ਲਈ। ਅਸ਼ੋਕ ਮਿੱਤਲ ਜੀ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਇਸ ਫੋਰਮ 'ਤੇ ਆਈ ਹਾਂ, ਇਸ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਈ ਹਾਂ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਪੌਦਾ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਮੈਂ ਹਾਇਰ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸੀ, ਮੇਰੇ ਹੱਥੋਂ ਇਹ ਪੌਦਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਿਆ ਫੁੱਲਿਆ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਅਤਿਅੰਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਰ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ, ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਰਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਵੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੰਗੀਆਂ, ਡੇਢੀਆਂ ਸਵਾਈਆਂ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਦੇ ਖਿੱਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਆਬੇ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਉੱਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਮਿਸਾਲੀਆ ਕਾਇਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦਿਖਾਈ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਲੇਸਮੈਂਟ ਵੀ ਹਰ ਚੰਗੇ ਕਿੱਤਿਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਕੋਰਸਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣ ਲਈ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਅੱਗੇ ਈਸ਼ਵਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਹੱਥੀਂ ਲਾਏ ਬੂਟੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੱਧਦਾ ਫੁੱਲਦਾ ਦੇਖਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਇਹ ਦਿਨ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਮੌਕਾ ਸ਼੍ਰੀਮਤੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਮੈਨੂੰ 2-3 ਗੱਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਯਾਦ ਨੇ। मैं बहुत छोटी, इन्नी भी छोटी नहीं कि उंगल फड़ के चलती सी, पर छोटी सी। ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕਾਲਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਸੀ, ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ 25% ਮਹਿਲਾਵਾਂ ਦਾ, ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੇ ਭੈਣ ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ, 25% ਮਹਿਲਾਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਾਜਨੀਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ। ਗਿਆਨੀ ਜੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਮੇਰੇ 'ਤੇ ਆ ਪਈ। ਮੈਂ ਟਲਦੀ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਰਾਜਨੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਨਫ਼ਰਤ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਰਾਜਨੀਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਸ਼੍ਰੀਮਤੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਾਰਖੂ ਅੱਖ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਆਸ਼ੀਰਵਾਦ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੈਂਬਲੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰ 1972 ਵਿੱਚ ਲੜਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ। ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਆਮ ਲੀਡਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਨ। ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲੀ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇਹ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਮਾਡਲ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਟੇਟ, ਸੱਚਮੁੱਚ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਮਿਸਾਲ ਸਨ, ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਸਨ। 3 ਗੱਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੋਈ ਧੜੱਲੇਦਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਧੜੱਲੇਦਾਰ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਲੀਡਰ, ਕਿਸੇ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦਾ ਲੀਡਰ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਨਾਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ, ਜਿਸ ਵਕਤ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ ਅਤੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਹਥਿਆਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਏ, ਇਸ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਲੜਾਈ ਦਾ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, 2 ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਤਾਕਤਾਂ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਅਤੇ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ। ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਸ਼੍ਰੀਮਤੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਵਾਲੇ ਹਥਿਆਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਡਿਵਾਈਡ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਦੁਨੀਆ, ਵੰਡੀ ਗਈ ਦੁਨੀਆ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ ਵਾਲੇ ਹਥਿਆਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਡੀ ਲੀਡਰ ਨੇ, ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਅਮਨ ਦੀ ਹਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ, ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਹਥਿਆਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਹਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ, ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਹਥਿਆਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਹਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਅਮਨ ਦੀ ਹਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ। ਅਮਨ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਦਾ ਪੈਗਾਮ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਔਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ, ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਅਖਵਾਉਣ ਵਾਲਾ, ਉਹ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਹੀ ਸਨ, ਜੋ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਸਿਰ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਦੇਖਦਾ। ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਯੂ ਆਰ ਰੋਂਗ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਨਿਕਸਨ। ਇਹ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਨਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੁਣੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਨਾ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਸੁਣੀ ਹੈ ਕਦੇ, ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਹੈਡ ਨੂੰ, ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਣਾ। ਉਹ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਹੀ ਸਨ। ਦੋਸਤੀ ਦਾ ਪੈਗਾਮ, ਬੜੇ ਬੜੇ ਅਮੀਰ ਲੋਕ, ਰਾਜੇ ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਵੀ ਪਰਸ ਖੋਹ ਕੇ ਗਰੀਬਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਪੈਸਾ ਸੇਵਿੰਗ ਹੋਇਆ, ਬੀਨਕਾਤੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਦੂਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਮਹਾਨ ਲੀਡਰ ਸ਼੍ਰੀਮਤੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਆਈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣ ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਰੋਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਰੁਕੇ, ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਰੋਕਣਾ ਹੈ। ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਮਿਸਾਲ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ, ਜਿਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੁਕਿਆ, ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਉਜਾੜਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਉੱਥੋਂ ਕੱਢਤਾ ਜੋ ਮਾੜੇ ਮੋਟੇ ਹਤੈਸ਼ੀ ਸਾਡੇ। ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਬੰਗਲਾਦੇਸ਼ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਬਤ ਕਰਤਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਗਰੀਬ ਤੇ ਲਤਾੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਨੰਬਰ 'ਤੇ ਆਇਆ ਹੈ। ਬੰਗਲਾਦੇਸ਼ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ। ਇਹ ਸੀ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਉਸ ਲੀਡਰ ਦੀ। ਉਸ ਥਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋਏ ਸੀ, ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ। ਔਰ ਲੇਡੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਲੜਕੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਜੋ ਕੀਤੀ ਸ਼ੀਲਾ ਦੀਕਸ਼ਿਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ, ਅੱਜ ਜ਼ਮਾਨਾ ਬਦਲ ਗਿਆ, ਹਾਲਾਤ ਬਦਲ ਗਏ ਹੈ। ਜਿਸ ਵਕਤ ਮੈਂ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਬਣੀ, ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ 30% ਵਿੱਚ 13 ਚੋਂ 3 ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਡਿਪਟੀ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨਰ ਲੇਡੀਜ਼ ਲਾਈਆਂ ਔਰ 4 ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਿਆਂ 'ਚ SSP ਲੇਡੀ ਲੜਕੀਆਂ ਲਾਈਆਂ। ਹੈੱਡ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਮੈਂ ਫੀਮੇਲਸ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੇ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਕੰਪੈਰੇਟਿਵਲੀ ਕੰਮ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਫਿਸਰ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੇਰਾ ਸਿਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੀਵਾਂ ਹੋਣ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਅੱਛਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅੱਜ ਜ਼ਮਾਨਾ ਬਦਲ ਗਿਆ। ਅੱਜ ਜ਼ਮਾਨੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਬਲੀਅਤ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਭਰਾ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝਦੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਔਰਤ। ਔਰਤ ਜੋ ਚੀਜ਼ ਠਾਣ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਰਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਵੂਮਨਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਭਰਾਵਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਆਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਡਿਊਟੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਨਿਭਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਬੇਟੀ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ 'ਚ ਡਬਲ ਕੰਮ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਉਹ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ। ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ, ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਔਰਤ ਨਾ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਦੀ ਔਰਤ ਸੀ। ਜੇ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਬੇਬੇ ਨਾਨਕੀ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਾਣੀ ਝਾਂਸੀ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੀਲ ਪੱਥਰ ਗੱਡ ਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਏ, ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਮਹਾਨ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੇ। ਔਰ ਸ਼੍ਰੀਮਤੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਵਰਗੇ ਬੜੇ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੈਟਿਕ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੀ ਸਫਲ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲੀ ਫੇਮ ਲੈਣ ਵਾਲੀ, ਨੇਮ ਲੈਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ। ਔਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਾਣ ਤੇ ਗੌਰਵ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸੇ ਸੈਟਅਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਵੀ ਔਰਤ ਰਹੀ, ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਵੀ ਔਰਤ ਰਹੀ, ਲੋਕ ਸਭਾ ਦੀ ਸਪੀਕਰ ਵੀ ਔਰਤ ਰਹੀ, ਗਵਰਨਰ ਤੇ ਆ 2 ਚੀਫ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰਾਂ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ, ਚੀਫ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਸੀ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਾ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਅੱਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਾ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਾ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਉਮਰ ਭਰ ਦੀ ਆਰਜ਼ੂ ਹੈ ਉਮਰ ਭਰ ਦੇ ਗਮ ਦਾ ਰਾਜ਼। ਉਮਰ ਭਰ ਦੀ ਆਰਜ਼ੂ ਹੈ ਉਮਰ ਭਰ ਦੇ ਗਮ ਦਾ ਰਾਜ਼, ਸੋਚਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਕੋਈ ਬਣ ਜਾਏ ਮੇਰੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼। ਅੱਜ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਜੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋਵੋਗੇ, ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਬੱਚੀਆਂ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਰਸੈਂਟੇਜ ਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਅੱਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਬਲੀਅਤ, ਮੇਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਚਾਹੇ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ, ਲੜਕੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਚਾਹੇ ਲੜਕੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਬਲੀਅਤ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਪੈਮਾਨਾ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਗਰੀਬੀ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਲਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਾਤੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਗੋਤੀਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੰਡਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ। ਰਾਜੀਵ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਜੋ ਇਕੋਨੋਮਿਕਲੀ ਜੋ ਵੀਕਰ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀ ਸਕੀਮਾਂ ਬਣਾਓ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਾਤੀ ਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜ਼ਿਮੀਂਦਾਰ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਨਰਲ ਹੋਵੇ, ਦਲਿਤ ਹੋਵੇ, ਗਰੀਬ ਹੋਵੇ, ਕੋਈ ਹੋਵੇ। ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਤਬਦੀਲੀਆਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਣਗੀਆਂ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈਂਦੀ, ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ। ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਿ ਸਟੇਟ ਦੀ ਹੋਸਟ ਹਾਂ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੈਸਟਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਇਸ ਸਾਰੇ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੋਈ, ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੋਈ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਲਚਰਲ ਆਈਟਮ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ, ਨੌਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ। ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਗੀਤ ਸੀ, ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹ ਸਾਥੋਂ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਬੱਚੀਆਂ ਨਾ ਸਮਝਦੀਆਂ ਹੋਣ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੇਰੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹੋਣ। ਉਹਦੀ ਟਿਊਨ ਕੱਢੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਗੀਤ ਕੀ ਸੀਗਾ? ਜੁੱਤੀ ਕਸੂਰੀ ਪੈਰੀ ਨਾ ਪੂਰੀ, ਹਾਏ ਰੱਬਾ ਵੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਰਨਾ ਪਿਆ। ਇਹ ਗੀਤ ਸੀ ਉਹ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਢੁਕਵਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਯਾਦ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਜੁੱਤੀ ਅਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੁੱਤੀ, ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਜੁੱਤੀ, ਅੱਜ ਉਹ ਕਸੂਰੀ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਪੈਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਪੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈ ਰਹੀ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਬਦੀਲੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਤਬਦੀਲੀਆਂ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਣਾ ਪਊਗਾ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਜੈ ਹਿੰਦ। ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to request Shri Ashok Mittal, the Chancellor, Lovely Professional University, to grace the occasion with his words.
Good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to Lovely Professional University. Our LPU family is honored to host this gathering of highly esteemed statesmen and stateswomen, as well as the delegates of the Model United National Conference. Thank you for all gracing us with your presence. About women, empowerment of women is one of the major concerns of United Nations. I always feel it great that I am part of that country which gave its first woman prime minister just within 20 years of independence, while US, after 3 centuries of independence, is still struggling to get first woman president. Shrimati Indira Gandhi ji, under whose banner, under whose name this conference is being organized. We are lucky. And she was the second woman prime minister in the world. So this is the strength of Indian democracy and the brand India. Not only that, we have many firsts, right, sitting on this stage. Shrimati Rajinder Kaur Bhattal ji, first woman Chief Minister of Punjab. We have with us Shrimati Sheila Dikshit ji, first woman Chief Minister of Delhi. And for 3 consecutive terms, that to a highly sensitized state, which is Delhi. We discussed about democracy also. I'll also say something about that. First, I always feel, and everybody feels so, that Indian constitution is the best constitution in the entire world, which has given a perfect balance between executive, judiciary, and legislature. Our second biggest democracy is said to be United Nations. When elections are held for President of United Nations, I think you must be knowing hardly 30% of people cast their vote in United Nations against 70% of votes cast in India for election of the parliament. Though we are said that we are a country of illiterates, in spite of that illiteracy, our people are so aware that they don't forget to cast their vote. And I was hearing today that in USA they are planning that in the next president election, they will declare that day as a holiday so that the Democrats may get better votes. They feel if it is holiday, they'll get better votes. But in India, I think we don't feel such problems, and we are a very strong democracy. Though we are a very young democracy, we are hardly 60 to 7 years old, and I think this period is nothing in the life of a country, which is for hundreds and thousands years. So I think our democracy is very strong, and we have changed government many a times and going stronger. And I don't have any issue that it will not grow. There was the one movie I think you must have seen, if I correctly recollect, it is Namaste London. And there was one dialogue of Akshay Kumar, and which is true. I think I may not have the right words, but I think the meaning is that in a country which is said to be dominated by Hindus, but it is a secular country, we all know. In a Hindu-dominated country, a Sikh Prime Minister who belongs to a party which is being headed by a lady who was originally Christian, and he is being sworn by a person who is Muslim president. So this is the strength of Indian democracy. Friends, coming to this event, when we were presented with the proposal to host a model United Nations, we were very excited. And I'll tell you why we were excited. In the last 10 to 12 years, the world has moved at a super fast speed. We already know that things are moving very fast. From desktop to laptops, to mobile phones, to smartwatches, to virtual reality, to God knows what next. But one thing that has remained stagnant, that has seen very little innovation, are our classrooms. Because we are a university, we are concerned about that. Of course, yes, blackboards have been replaced by the PowerPoint presentations, and recorded lectures can also be seen online nowadays. That's great. But that is innovation in technology applied to education. That is not innovation in education itself. But today, you will all be a part of something that I believe is truly an innovation in education. I believe the model United Nations is one of the better ways to learn about politics, international relations, diplomacy, and so on, while simultaneously improving public speaking, building your confidence also. Think about it. It is so much better than just reading a book and then taking exam. Instead of just learn about the concept, you actually get to live them. You actually get to live them. And students, actually enjoy the learning. You are ready to spend your weekend working, that says something. You are here on your weekend and immediately after Christmas Day. This kind of innovation is something that we desperately need in other subjects as well. In business, that's business administration, we could have business simulations where students actually assume the role of CEOs and board members. In engineering, the class on internal combustion should be about building go-karts and racing them to see who can design the best performing yet the most efficient engines. And I think the MUN has set a great example of how education can be disrupted in other subjects as well. Delegates, another way profound learning can happen is when your teacher has actually internalized this subject matter. I'm guessing many of you are interested in political system, and today you have amongst you a group of highly acclaimed leaders who represent over 200 years of combined experience in public life. Who better to learn about the parliamentary system from than the Speaker of Lok Sabha himself, Shri Shivraj Patil ji. Not only that, and the Home Minister of the country has always been an inspiration for us at LPU. And of course, Governor of Punjab. Sir, you have always championed the cause of education, made time for LPU, and have encouraged us to continue to make this institution stronger. We are really indebted to you, sir. Then students, who better to learn about public administration from than the former Chief Minister of Punjab, Madam Shrimati Rajinder Kaur Bhattal ji, who was also a higher education minister when LP was founded and has ever since stood strongly by our side whenever we needed her support. She defended very strongly on the floor of House when the bill for LP was presented in the assembly. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your support. Then who better to learn about policy making from 3-time Chief Minister of Delhi, Shrimati Sheila Dikshit ji. And we in Punjab always take inspiration from the great development work done in Delhi by her government. Thank you very much, ma'am. You have shown all states the way. And one another interesting thing is that Madam's Nanihal is this district, Kapurthala district. So she's back at her Nanihal. Thank you very much, ma'am. Delegates, believe me, this 1 or 2 hour session with these individuals will leave all your political science classes pale in comparison. I think you already witnessed that. You are lucky that you already witnessed that. Finally, we thank you, the delegates and the organizers led by Mr. Gaurav, well done Gaurav, for championing this new educational paradigm. I'm sure this concept will transcend into other subjects and disciplines as well. I hope you have a great time at LPU and enjoy the lovely campus in these chilling days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You all have the opportunity to now interact with our distinguished guests. The house is now open for questions. Since our guest of honor is about to leave, now we'll begin with the felicitation. As a token of gratitude As a token of gratitude, the Chancellor, Shri Ashok Mittal, will present a token of gratitude along with the Pro-Chancellor, Srimati Rashmi Mittal, accompanied by Gautam, Founder Chairman, and Abhimanyu Maur, Founder President.
We would now begin with the interaction session with the dignitaries who have taken out time from their busy schedule and graced our occasion. From the audience, the delegates, the executive board members, you're free to ask questions, if any, from the dignitaries on stage. So do we have any questions? Please. You should come forward with a mic. We'll go one by one and we'll proceed with the questions. Can we have one mic on the stage for the dignitaries to answer?
Shri Shivraj Patilji talked about the parliament. So my question to him is, that does he...
Please come here and address him so that you are visible to him at least. Yeah, please speak your question now.
Shri Shivraj Patilji talked about the parliament. Therefore, my question to him is, does he think that the disruption of parliament is a viable means of protest when political parties have many other means of protest at their disposal?
Well, first duty of the parliament is to make law. The second duty is to pass the budget. And the third duty is to hold the executive accountable. Members of the parliament are accountable to the people, and the members of the executive are accountable to the parliament. If the questions put by the members of the parliament are properly answered, then there is no question. There is no difficulty. But if for one reason or the other they are not properly answered, and by adopting a trick, if something is tried to be done by the executive, then the members get disturbed. There are so many other reasons also, and because of that, the parliament is disturbed. One of the reasons is when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister, used to function for more than 150 days. Now, if the parliament is working for 70 days or 80 days, then enough time is not available. And the members are competing with each other to catch the eye or the ear of the speaker or the presiding officer, whosoever is sitting in. And in the process, it happens. Third is, we are not allowed to make written speeches. We are expected to speak extempore. If you want to make a written statement, you shall have to take the permission of the presiding officer. But that is not so in other legislatures, especially in America. A written statement has to be given, and in other states also. Fourth is, you do not have a system in which the members can speak from the podium and not from the seat. Where they are sitting, they get up and ask the question. One get up, another man get up, third man get up, and then there is a question. And then there is a confusion. And that is because of that, the House, which is following the Westminster system, not only in India but in other countries also, these kinds of disturbances are taking place. And these disturbances really do not bring good name to the parliament. But they have to be understood in the particular perspective. If the leader of the opposition and the opposition parties can become the ruling party, and the ruling party leader and the members can sit on the opposition benches, and if they understand that there may be a time when they will be sitting not at the place where they are sitting, but on the opposition side, either on the ruling benches of the opposition, but that doesn't happen. This has to be understood. And when a man feels very intensely about something, then also he says something, Now let me tell you my experience as a speaker. As a speaker, one gentleman, one MP from Madhya Pradesh came to me and said, "Sir, give me some time to speak." I said, "What is the subject on which you would like to talk?" He said, "My village is not getting drinking water, so I want to raise it on the floor of the house." I said, "This is not a floor where you can raise it. And even if you raise it, you are not going to get any answer, any reply, which is really useful. You should take it to the Panchayat Samiti. You take it to Jilla Parishad. At the most, you can take it to the state legislature, but not to the parliament." He said, "I had gone to Panchayat Samiti, Jilla Parishad and state government. Nothing could happen, so I want to raise it here." I said, "These people will not be able to do anything. They will just send you a letter to the state government and say that help them. Nothing more than that." He said, "Whatever may happen, you should give me the time." I said, "But this is not allowed by the rules." He said, "If you don't allow me to speak, I'm going not to allow you to work. I'm going to create a problem for you." I said, "How are you going to create the problem for me?" He said, "I'm going to take off my clothes and sit in the bed." I said, "Even that is not going to solve the problem." He said, "If you give me the time, within 3 minutes I will finish my statement. But if you don't give me the time, at least for 2 hours I am not going to allow you to work." And I said, "Okay, I will give you 3 minutes, you speak, and then finish with it." He came and spoke and he finished with it. This is psychology involved in it. Psychology involved in it. If you intensely feel that something which should be done is not being done by anybody, or is being done by using some tricks and methods, then they are. Now, those people who are sitting on the opposition benches, they were sitting on the ruling benches. And they have also suffered that for 25 days, 30 days, the House was not allowed to work. They said, "Now we will tell you what happens if House is allowed." So this kind of tit for tat is also not good. But what you are saying, that it is not good if the House is disturbed. It is good if business is conducted in a proper manner by understanding the responsibility and the proper method of conducting business.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other questions on the floor? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon to you all. It's an honor for me that I'm asking you people such question. And and I had this yearn in my heart when I was since grade 8, in grade 5 certainly, to ask such questions, and I never have ever dreamt that I could meet you people and ask you in reality. Well, that's a very simple and a normal question that almost every student sitting over here, either from a student, either from a college, expects. Sir or madam, when are we expecting a certain modification in our education system that no longer depends on us, not on capacity to cram, but on capacity on what we specialize in, on what we are expert at, and what we actually learn, not we cram it. Because everybody over here, every student sitting over here has that fear of examination in that head. Even if I'm sitting over here, I am fearful of the exams that I'm going to arrive in February. I cannot concentrate on this confidence. I cannot concentrate on my future, but on my examination that actually would define only a month of my life. So when do you think we can actually have an India where students are not defined by a fear of examination, but a fear to how to make our country a successful country?
Young lady, I like your concern. I really appreciate this. And I think you're absolutely right that we have to change our system now. Because all over the world, the examination that we take at the end of the year or the middle of the year or every month or something is not the critical way of judging what your capacity is. It's a consistent kind of a thing. There are some schools and perhaps colleges also, your university is one such, that where students are given encouragement to find out for themselves rather than cramming the kind of lessons that are either book lessons or, otherwise taught by the teachers. And they cram them up, they rattle them, as you say, and then at the end of it all, imtahan de diya, pehla number aa gaya to bahut अच्छे हो, हालांकि कभी कभी जो लास्ट नंबर आती है वो लड़की आपसे भी ज़्यादा या मेरे से भी ज़्यादा अक्लमंद होती है. तो ये सिस्टम बदलना पड़ेगा और बहुत अच्छा है गौतम जी, इस पॉइंट को आपको, वेयर इज ही गौतम जी, आपको इस पॉइंट को ज़रूर लेना चाहिए क्योंकि ये एक व्यथा, एक पीड़ा, एक कंसर्न एक ऐसी लड़की की है. व्हाट इज़ योर एज बेटा? You're what? 17. So that sweet 17, it's her concern. I think we should all take it up. And it is being recognized that the educational system in India has to change its approach. We have to become more knowledge-based rather than ratto-based. Okay?
Do we have any more questions on the floor?
Bache, I would also like to add here. Thank you very much, ma'am. You might have heard my speech. I'm happy to share. Of course, I can't comment as far as school education is concerned because we are not into that field, we are into higher education. But I'm happy to share with you, this system is being changed in higher education. And LPU is pioneering in this system only, that no cramming, you should learn, not only learn, rather you should do live things right inside the university. When you are a student of a university, LPU students, they make cars, they design accessories, dresses, they cook food, they run hotels, they run malls inside the campus because we want them to learn the reality of life, real projects in life, not the lab projects. So some other universities are also doing it, but yes, it has started in higher education, and I think you are going to step out from your school very soon. So please choose a university which provides that kind of environment.
I think I should also intervene. What you are asking for is already given by some universities in some states in our country. Now there are examinations held, and they say that the student should solve at least 4 questions. out of 6 or 7 questions that are given. And at the same time, in the question paper, they write that even if you reply to one question properly, your capacity or your understanding will be judged on the basis of one question you have answered. And you will get the marks to pass or get first class or second class or third class. It is already accepted. But if you have to judge whether a student who is sitting in a classroom has really acquired the knowledge or not, if that examination is not there, those people who would be taking their assistance, they would like to examine them. The industry would like to say that we would like to have an examination of yours, and who is selected in that examination will get the job. Nobody is saying that you should cram your mind and your understanding with statistics and this type. If you understand the principles, if you understand the subject properly as a whole, without trying to remember the statistics or some figures, if you are speaking about the history, if you want to understand in which year a war has taken place, which year the king was thrown out, and what, that year is important. But why he was thrown out and why he was continued or why he became successful is more important. And on that basis, a good examiner will examine, and not on the basis of statistics given. So there is some wrong impression in the minds of the students, and some students do not want to appear in the examination. Nobody is saying that you just collect the information and keep it here and then you put it on the paper. They want to know whether you have understood the subject or not. You have developed that subject or not. If you are doing it not to avoid this kind of assessment by the educational institutions also will have very great difficulty. So we shall have to understand whether the examination is necessary or not. Somebody has to examine. Either the mother examines, or the father examines, or the teacher examines, the university examines, or the student himself examines himself or herself. Only then this question can be solved. Otherwise, if you are just trying only to avoid the question, which we have done it, and now they are saying that you will have examination for getting entry into this class or that class or this job or that job, that is also going to create a problem.
Thank you so much, sir. So, ma'am, would you like to add something? Would you like to add something to it? Yeah, so we'll have the former principal of APJ School, Ms. Ranjana Sood, to add to it. Can someone give her the mic? This side, can someone give her the mic? Yeah.
I'd like to thank the August gathering for having given their suggestions. But being in this profession, I see that the fear of examination has been dominating most of the students I have come into contact with. They're very fearful of the fact, and maybe more intelligent the ones who can ratify their curriculum, because they're the ones who want hands-on experience. And this is something we try to start in our schools, where we try to line up with the industries so that the children could skill themselves appropriately according to their expertise. It was very important that they select their subjects after the 10th to be able to help our country. And especially when I came to Jalandhar, I realized that coming from Delhi was a big difference, coming from Bombay was another. But coming to Jalandhar made me realize that the rural verticals needed attention, and that we needed some intelligent children stepping out and helping our village verticals. And it was important that you skill yourself in those subjects which are going to lead to some employment. And we would not be left with a lot of druggists and unemployed youth, which are present here, you know, in our city. So that was very important. Also, I think one basic skill which every school must indulge in is critical thinking, which we don't do somehow. And it's important for the child to be able to think and solve problems, because that is the only skill which is going to come in handy for you wherever you are, because we don't know what's going to happen 10 years down the line. The future is an unknown factor. It's quite blurred, right? But if you know how to solve a problem and you know what to do with your skills that you have, you'll always be a success in whatever you do. So I think it's very important just to know that you are keen to learn and change. You know, I'm reminded of a very good quotation which says, the illiterates of the 21st century are not those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Start relearning. Thank you.
So we'll take one last question. Anybody? Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. It's an honor to talk to you. And I have a question for Mrs. Sheila Dikshit, that India is one of the most leading countries in terms of academics and in terms of people who are leading the world today, like the CEO of Google and the CEO of Microsoft. But in terms of kind of security, we are just hoping to get soon in the Security Council as a permanent member. What is the possible thing that we are gonna, in the near future, we are gonna get in the list of the P5 countries and one of the most powerful countries of the world?
Well, I hope I can answer you, but you're absolutely right. I'll take your second part first, that we must get into the Security Council for some reason or the other. Either it's prejudice or it's fear of India becoming a very, very vibrant, economically vibrant country that stops these people who are there already from getting somebody else there. But that's the only explanation I can think of. I can't think of another. When you are very correctly saying that today all the top companies, especially those who are dealing with computerization and modern communication systems, are being headed by Indians. A lot of them by women also. Even in India, a lot of women are heading our companies. So there is a potential. I would like each one of us to feel very proud of the fact that Indians have a brilliant mind. बहुत अच्छा हमारा दिमाग है और हमारे बच्चों का तो और भी ज़्यादा है. I know that I learn a lot of things from my granddaughters, which I don't know about. Because the kind of education that we got some years ago or decades ago was very different to what you all are getting. You are getting what is going to equip you for modern India, for the future. Our future is over. We can only look back and say, yes, I learned my history and I know who Akbar was and I know who Ashoka was, I know who King George was. But the changes. So education में बेटा हमेशा changes आते हैं. और जो system उन changes को नहीं absorb करता है, वो पीछे रह जाता है. They get left behind. And you should be happy that you're studying in a school. The teacher was speaking just now. She's very correct that we have to relook at what we are teaching, the syllabus that is being taught, whether it is up to the future requirements or is it only looking backwards. It is all very well for us to learn history at a point of time. We should still learn history because it teaches us a lot of things. But we also have to learn computer. You ask me to work on a computer, I can't do it. I'm supposed to be an MA and a first class MA. But I don't fit into your world at all. I can't use a computer. For me to use a telephone also,
of the kind that we, you and I are using now is just, it's quite a feat. It's quite an achievement if I can use it. So education has to be re-looked at all the time. And this university, as he says, is already doing it. You are changing, the things are changing, and those who are not changing are being left behind. I can tell you some stories about Delhi where children of the slum areas have picked up modern technology and are working as very good teachers somewhere, very good women in hospitals, hotels, and the whole gamut of it all, or working as typists or, secretaries and all, and they come from the slum areas because they are being given a good education, a modern education. By a good education, I mean a modern education. और वो आप कितना उसका इस्तेमाल करते हो वो आपके ऊपर होता है. ठीक है?
Thank you, ma'am. The questions which are left can be raised in the talk show, which we are going to have immediately after we finish with the inaugural ceremony. The talk show is based on Intolerant India, but students who still wish to ask questions which remain unanswered can come in the talk show and have a question answer session with sir and ma'am. Thank you.
A very good evening, everyone. At this juncture, I think it's time that we felicitate the individuals on the dais, the dignitaries on the dais who have taken time out of their very busy schedule and have made sure they've been present here to encourage our generation, considering myself to be a part of this generation, the younger generation, which is being talked all about. Now I'd like to request the Honorable Chancellor, sir, Pro-Chancellor, ma'am, Mr. Gautam Seth and Mr. Abhimanyu More to kindly felicitate Shri Shivraj Patil ji. Chancellor, sir, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for Shri Shivraj Patil ji, while the Chancellor of Lovely Professional University felicitates him. I also request Honorable Chancellor Sir, Pro-Chancellor Ma'am Gautam and Abhimanyu to felicitate Srimati Sheila Dikshit ji, who has also taken time out of her busy schedule and has made sure she's been present for the second edition of our conference. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Any Model United Nations conference or parliamentary simulation is incomplete without those individuals who actually guide the simulation of such events, that is, the executive board members. It takes me immense pleasure to be inviting the executive board members onto the dais now. For the United Nations General Assembly DISEC, we have the chairperson, Mr. Dikshant Malik. We have the vice chairpersons, Jaideep Singh and Gaffarasi Christian. And we have the director, Akul Puri. Mr. Dikshant Malik, chairperson, vice chairpersons, Jaideep and Gaffarasi, and the director, Akul Puri. For Facebook versus Google, a one-of-its-kind committee, we have the chairperson, Mr. D.M. Varun. Vice Chairperson Vanshika Arora, and Director Mohak Thukral. For the UN ODC, we have the Chairperson Kaveri Raval. Vice Chairperson Sabya Kapoor. And the Director Sanat Arora. We have the Chairperson of Facebook versus Google, Mr. D.M. Varun, Vice Chairperson Vanshika Arora, and the Director Mohak Thukral. For the General Assembly Dissect, we have the Chairperson, Mr. Dikshant Malik, Vice Chairperson Jaideep Singh, Co-Vice Chairperson Gafrasi, and the Director Akul Puri. For UN ODC, we have the Chairperson, Ms. Kaveri Raval, Vice Chairperson Sabya Kapoor, and the Director Sanat Arora. For the United Nations Human Rights Council, we have the Chairperson Rudraksh Lakra, Co-Vice Chairpersons Meghna Chaturvedi and Fahad Ahmad Khan. For the OOTP, we have the Chairperson Bhavna Chaudhary, Vice Chairpersons Nimrat and Moksh Kalra. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could give a big round of applause as a mark of respect towards the Executive Board members, that would be appreciated. Thank you. For the OOTP, we have the Chairperson Bhavna Chaudhary, Vice Chairperson Nimrat, and Co-Vice Chairperson Moksh. For the United Nations Commission on Status of Women, we have the Chairperson Lavani Kashyap, Co-Vice Chairpersons Dhriti Chawda and Akriti Sharma. For the UNCSW, we have the Chairperson Lavani Kashyap, Vice Chairpersons Dhriti Chawda and Akriti Sharma. For the Rajya Sabha, we have the Chairman, Mr. Sukhandeep Singh, Deputy Chairmen, Devesh Gill and Rahul Puri, and the Scribe, Tript Kaur. Ladies and gentlemen, Executive Board of the Rajya Sabha. We certainly do have a high tea after this, so a little bit more of enthusiasm would be appreciated. For the White House Situation Room, we have the President, Mr. Saurabh Batra, Vice President Kunal Kapoor, and Substantive Director Ayush Agarwal. For the White House Situation Room, we have the President, Mr. Saurabh Batra, Vice President Kunal Kapoor, and Substantive Director Ayush Agarwal. For the United Nations Security Council, we have the President, Mr. Arun Jolly Joseph, and the Rapporteur, Ms. Priyanka. The Executive Board of the United Nations Security Council. And for the all the more important international press, we have the International Press Head, Aditi Parashar, and the Editor-in-Chief, Shashwat Tripathi. Heading the international press for the second time, in the second edition of IGN MUN, we have Ms. Aditi Parashar, and for the second consecutive time, the Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Shashwat Tripathi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's noteworthy to mention that the opening video which you saw was a work of the International Press Head, Ms. Aditi Parashar. And to that committee, which assumes even more importance, after yesterday's sudden visit of Shri Narendra Modi ji to Lahore, the Indo-Pak bilateral meet, we have the scribe, Mr. J.V. Singh, and I would be moderating it. He is the man who has carved and molded IGN MUN organization to the way it is today. I'd now like to request Mr. Abhimanyu More to kindly come onto the dais and give the Founder President's address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Since the time Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations organization was founded, the basic motive of the organization has been motivating the youth of the country. I stand proud as today we start off with the second edition of Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations in Jalandhar. After hosting one of the best flagship events which India has ever witnessed in New Delhi, we have finally explored and reached Jalandhar to spread the knowledge of Model United Nations in Punjab. Whereas, moreover, we feel that in the coming years, Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations organization will spread across all over India and South Asia. Today, as a founder, when I see first-timer delegates sitting in the crowd and learning from dignitaries such as Shri Shivraj Patil ji and Srimati Sheila Dikshit ji, it gives me pride. I feel honored for being a part of the organizing committee and presiding over the organizing committee to host such an event with Lovely Professional University. All the efforts by the team here at Lovely Professional University, I would like to thank the Chancellor and Pro-Chancellor for all the efforts which have been put forward by the university in order to make this function a success. Thank you very much. I look forward for 2 days of fruitful debate and fun. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Abhimanyu. And now for the moment that all of us are waiting. This conference is what it is and what it would be only because of the hard work and efforts that this individual has put along with his entire team. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still not done. Now, I take immense pleasure in welcoming my successor, Shaurya Shur, Secretary General, IGN MUN 2015, Jalandhar Chapter, for his Secretary General speech.
To be standing here was once my dream, and today my dream has turned into reality. A very good evening to one and all present here at IGN MUN 2015. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Oscar Fernandez and Shrimati Sheila Dikshit, Chief Patron and Patron for IGN organization, under whose guidance we are able to put out such an educative and informative mega event. We are also obliged to have Shri Shivraj Patil as our chief guest, who took out time to be amongst us to boost the morale of all the delegates. We, the children of today, are the coming up citizens of any country. This organization is playing a pivotal role in properly channelizing the enthusiasm, zeal, knowledge of our generation to become a responsible and well-aware generation next. At this platform, not only the speaking skills are polished, but we also learn to organize, to work as a team, and to handle the hurdles and problems of today's life. I would also like to thank my parents and my grandparents who are present here, who are a pillar of strength and support for me always. Gautam and Abhimanyu, thank you so much for believing in me and telling me and giving me a constant support and telling me, yes, we will do it. Gautam, Abhimanyu, see, we have done it. My fellow Secretariat and OC members, yes, they've actually worked hand in hand to get this conference where it is right now. All the respected Executive Board members, it's an honor for all of us that you've joined us for this event. All the respected dignitaries and members, it's an honor for all of us that you are here. I, as the Secretary General of this conference, ensure one and to everyone a fruitful debate and a great hospitality for the coming 3 days. There is a saying that to be the best, you have to be the best, and I ensure IGN MUN will be the best here. At the last but not the least, I would thank all the delegates who are present here, without whom this conference, this MUN wouldn't be possible. I have already taken a lot of time. Not taking further, I would take Sheila ma'am's permission as the patron to declare this conference open. Ma'am, do I have your permission? I, Shaurya Rana Kuvar Shur, the Secretary General for Indira Gandhi National Model United Nations 2015, Jalandhar, declare this conference open.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Now that the conference is open, it is my duty as the Senior Advisor of IGN organization to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. I take immense pleasure in showing my gratitude and thank the honorable dignitaries who are on the dais and the dignitaries who couldn't make it due to certain unavoidable circumstances for their best wishes. I also take this opportunity to thank the entire management of Lovely Professional University for giving us the opportunity of hosting this conference in their August campus, which is a beautiful place nonetheless. That being said, I'd also like to thank Dr. Saurav for all his assistance in the smooth functioning of the conference, all the support staff, all the photographers, members of the media, executive board members, delegates, parents, principals and teachers from reputed institutions across the country, and all dignitaries who are present here. With this, we'd like to draw curtains on the opening ceremony of IGNMUN 2015. Thank you. Can we have all the